Beyond the farthest galaxies visible to our most powerful telescopes lies a boundary that no human eye has ever crossed. It is not a wall in space, nor a line that could be painted on a map. It is instead the ultimate limit of sight itself, the cosmic horizon, a boundary drawn not by matter but by time, by the finite speed of light and the vast age of the universe. Everything we see, every star, galaxy, and nebula, lies inside this bubble. Beyond it, silence, darkness, mystery, and yet cosmologists believe that this unseen expanse may contain more than we can possibly imagine. Entire regions of the universe cut off from us forever, alternate cosmic histories, perhaps even the key to understanding why anything exists at all. We live in a universe that began 13.8 billion years ago in a hot, dense state we call the Big Bang. From that initial fireball, space itself has expanded, carrying galaxies away from one another like dust motes caught in a rising tide. But this expansion also set a fundamental limit. Light, traveling at a finite speed, has had only 13.8 billion years to reach us. The result is a cosmic event horizon, a limit beyond which light emitted today will never, under any circumstance, reach Earth. Even if the universe lasts forever, regions beyond this horizon are sealed off, their stories untold. The numbers themselves are staggering. The observable universe stretches 46 billion light years in every direction, a bubble containing 2 trillion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. But what lies beyond this vast but finite sphere? Most cosmologists agree that the universe does not simply end at the horizon. Space continues, perhaps infinitely, but what that infinity contains remains one of the greatest mysteries in science. The first and most conservative possibility is simple continuation. Beyond our horizon, the universe looks much like it does here. Galaxies, stars, planets, governed by the same laws of physics we observe. If this is true, then what we see is only a fraction of a much larger whole. Our observable patch of sky will be no more remarkable than a single grain of sand on an endless beach. Yet even this simple picture is unsettling, because it means there are regions of space forever inaccessible to us, containing galaxies we will never map, civilizations we will never meet, histories we will never know. But there are other possibilities. Inflation theory, the leading explanation for why our universe looks the way it does, suggests that in the first tiny fraction of a second after the Big Bang, space expanded at a rate faster than the speed of light. This cosmic inflation smoothed the universe, creating the uniformity we see today. But inflation may not have ended everywhere at once. Instead, some regions may still be inflating, creating a multiverse, a vast cosmic foam of bubble universes, each separated by horizons of their own. If true, then our observable universe is just one bubble in an endless froth, each bubble potentially governed by different physical constants, different laws of physics, even different dimensions of space and time. The implications are profound. If the multiverse exists, then everything we know is but one chapter in an infinite library of possible realities. Somewhere beyond our horizon, stars might burn twice as bright, or never form at all. Entire galaxies could be composed not of atoms, but of unfamiliar particles. The very constants that shape chemistry and biology here could be tuned to alien values, producing worlds forever beyond our comprehension. In some bubbles, life may be impossible. In others, civilizations may thrive for trillions of years. And in yet others, the very concept of time might unfold differently. Yet, the horizon is not just a scientific boundary, it is also a philosophical one, for it forces us to confront the limits of knowledge. We are creatures that evolved to see and to know, yet we inhabit a cosmos where vast stretches of reality are fundamentally unknowable. Beyond the horizon, no signal can ever reach us. Not now. Not in a billion years. Not ever. To contemplate the horizon is to contemplate the end of human curiosity itself. What lies beyond is hidden not because of distance, but because of the structure of reality itself. But here is where the story takes a stranger turn. For though we cannot directly see beyond the horizon, we may be able to infer what lies there through subtle clues imprinted on the observable universe. Ripples in the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, contain faint patterns that may hint at collisions between our bubble universe and others. Anomalies in the large-scale distribution of galaxies suggest that gravitational influences from beyond the horizon may be tugging on our visible cosmos, leaving behind faint fingerprints of unseen structures. Astronomers call this phenomenon dark flow, the observation that clusters of galaxies appear to drift in one direction, at velocities that cannot be explained by the matter within the observable universe alone. Some scientists propose that this flow may be caused by immense structures beyond our horizon, superclusters of galaxies whose gravity tugs on everything within reach, even though they themselves remain invisible to us. If true, then the cosmic horizon is not a hard boundary, but a semi-transparent veil, through which the faint whispers of larger realities seep into our own. The mystery deepens further when we consider the ultimate fate of the cosmos. Current evidence suggests that the expansion of the universe is accelerating, driven by an unknown force we call dark energy. If this acceleration continues, then galaxies beyond a certain distance will slip permanently beyond our horizon, their light stretched into invisibility by the fabric of expanding space. In the distant future, only the nearest galaxies will remain visible, and eventually, even they will fade, leaving future observers trapped in an island universe, blind to the true cosmic expanse. To them, the entire universe will appear small, empty, and eternal, the grand truth forever concealed. The irony is staggering. The more the universe expands, the less of it we will ever see. And yet, hidden in this vanishing act may lie hints of an even grander design. Some cosmologists suggest that dark energy itself may be a signal of interaction with realities beyond our horizon. Others argue that the fine-tuning of cosmic parameters, the delicate balance that allows stars to shine and life to exist, points to the multiverse as the only explanation. If countless universes exist beyond our cosmic boundary, then it is not surprising that at least one ours would have the right conditions for life. The cosmic horizon, then, is not merely the edge of what we can see. It is a riddle written into the structure of the cosmos, a reminder that what we know is always a fraction of what exists. To gaze at the night sky is to look into a window that opens not onto infinity, but onto a carefully bounded sphere. Beyond that sphere lies the true scale of reality, whether it be endless galaxies, infinite bubble universes, or domains where the very fabric of existence follows rules unknown to us. And yet the most haunting question remains. If the universe is infinite, if there are countless regions beyond our horizon, then what does that mean for us, for human beings, for life, for meaning? Are we simply one story among endless variations? Or does the horizon conceal not just other universes, but other versions of ourselves? The question of what exists beyond the cosmic horizon is not just an abstract curiosity. It cuts to the core of whether our reality is unique or merely one instance of countless variations. For centuries, humans looked up at the night sky and believed that what they saw was the entirety of creation. First, the stars were thought to be fixed on a crystalline sphere, then they were seen as scattered across an infinite void, and later still as members of a galaxy surrounded by others. Each expansion of perspective was accompanied by resistance, by the discomfort of realizing that we were smaller and less central than we believed. The cosmic horizon represents the ultimate extension of that discomfort. It tells us that even now, even with all our telescopes, detectors, and theories, we're still trapped inside the bubble, still mistaking our tiny domain for the whole of existence. One of the most compelling ideas to emerge from modern cosmology is eternal inflation. The notion that the rapid expansion that shaped our universe did not stop everywhere. Instead, inflation continued in distant regions, birthing new universes endlessly in a never-ending process. Imagine a vast sea of space, with bubbles forming, expanding, and detaching. Each bubble its own universe, each with its own laws of physics, each separated from the others by inflating space faster than light itself. Our universe is just one bubble. Somewhere out there, other bubbles are forming right now, some destined to be stillborn, collapsing within moments, others expanding into vast realms of stars, galaxies, and perhaps life. This picture of eternal inflation changes the meaning of the horizon. It is not just the limit of light, it is the limit of universes. We are isolated not only by the speed of light, but by the very structure of cosmic expansion. Even if we could travel faster than light, even if we had unlimited time, we could never reach these other realms. They are causally disconnected, walled off by the fabric of space-time itself, yet their existence may explain mysteries we struggle with here. Why is the cosmos so flat, its geometry balanced on the razor's edge? Why do the laws of physics allow the delicate chemistry required for life? If there are infinite universes, then coincidences cease to be coincidences. We exist in a universe that permits life because only such universes ever ask these questions. Still, some physicists wonder if there could be signs of these other realms imprinted faintly in our own. If two bubble universes collided in the early stages of expansion, the impact might leave scars, circular patterns etched into the cosmic microwave background, subtle temperature fluctuations that break the otherwise random noise. Surveys of the background radiation have hinted at anomalies, unexplained alignments, cold spots that seem too large, too structured to be random. Some see in these anomalies the fingerprints of collisions across the horizon, ancient messages from universes beyond our own. Others argue that the patterns are statistical illusions, tricks of chance amplified by human pattern recognition. The debate continues, unresolved, each new dataset scrutinized for hints of what may lie beyond. The shape of the universe itself remains an open question. While observations suggest that on large scales it is flat, subtle curvature remains possible. A closed universe would eventually curve back on itself, a cosmic sphere with no edge, while an open one would expand endlessly, a saddle stretching into infinity. The distinction matters, because if the universe is closed, then traveling far enough in one direction could theoretically bring you back to your starting point, like circumnavigating a globe. But if it is infinite and flat, then space extends without bound, containing regions beyond our horizon that are exact duplicates of our own. In an infinite cosmos, every possible arrangement of matter must occur somewhere, including arrangements identical to Earth, identical to you, identical to this very moment, replicated countless times across distances we will never traverse. Such duplication forces us to reconsider identity and uniqueness. If there are infinitely many copies of us, then are our choices still meaningful? Or does every choice happen somewhere, in some far-flung region beyond our sight? Some cosmologists treat this idea as unavoidable, the mathematical consequence of infinite space filled with matter and energy. Others dismiss it as philosophical excess, speculation untethered from testable science. Yet the possibility lingers, unsettling and strangely intimate. Beyond the horizon may not just lie alien galaxies, but alternate versions of ourselves, living out variations of our lives in universes we will never touch. As we probe deeper into these questions, another layer of mystery emerges from the concept of cosmic topology. The horizon may conceal not only what exists beyond, but also how space itself is shaped. Our observable universe could be a small portion of a much larger structure folded in ways we cannot perceive. Just as a two-dimensional being on a sphere might believe their world is infinite because they never encounter an edge, we too may inhabit a space that loops back on itself. If this is the case, light traveling far enough might eventually circle around, showing us ghost images of our own galaxy from billions of years ago. Astronomers have searched for such repeating patterns in the microwave background signatures of a finite but unbounded universe, but so far the evidence remains elusive. The horizon, therefore, acts like a mirror. It reflects our ignorance back at us, challenging us to distinguish between what we can measure and what we can only imagine. Every time we look deeper into the sky, we are looking not just at space, but into the past, because light takes time to travel. The cosmic microwave background shows us the universe as it was 380 years after the Big Bang, a wall of light that currently forms the ultimate limit of observation. Beyond that lies the era before atoms formed, before photons could move freely. Beyond that lies inflation itself, a realm forever hidden. And yet beyond even that, if inflation is eternal, lies an infinite sea of universes, unreachable but perhaps mathematically inevitable. The challenge is not simply scientific but existential. The horizon tells us that we may never know everything, that reality contains truths forever out of reach. For a species built on curiosity, that limitation cuts deep. We evolved to map, to explore, to conquer unknowns. But here is an unknown that cannot be crossed. The cosmic horizon is a locked door with no key. What we do in response to that locked door defines how we see ourselves. Do we accept the limit as the boundary of relevance, confining our science to what can be tested and observed? Or do we allow speculation to stretch beyond, embracing possibilities we cannot verify but cannot rule out? And so the question persists, haunting and profound. If the horizon is not the end, if space continues beyond what we see, then what else lies out there, shaping our cosmos from the shadows? Perhaps forces we cannot measure are tugging at galaxies. Perhaps the fate of our universe is linked to events in realms we cannot reach. The horizon does not merely separate us from the unknown. It suggests that the unknown may be far larger, far stranger, and far more consequential than anything inside. The horizon is not a fixed boundary carved into the fabric of space. It is a shifting line drawn by the expansion of the universe itself. Every moment, as galaxies recede and the cosmos grows larger, the horizon changes. New regions of space slip into invisibility, while others, whose light was once beyond our reach, arrive at our telescopes after billions of years of travel. It is a living frontier, one that both reveals and conceals in equal measure. But recent discoveries have shown that this horizon is doomed to grow harsher, more absolute. The discovery of cosmic acceleration transformed our understanding of the universe, and with it, the meaning of the horizon. Instead of gradually slowing under the pull of gravity, the expansion of the universe is speeding up, driven by a mysterious pressure we call dark energy. The deeper we peer into its implications, the clearer the conclusion becomes. In the far future, the horizon will close around us like a tightening fist. This closing is subtle now. Distant galaxies are already receding faster than light relative to us, their signals forever out of reach. What we see when we look at them is only their ancient light, a snapshot of how they looked billions of years ago, before acceleration carried them beyond the possibility of communication. Over time, more and more galaxies will cross this invisible threshold, not through motion in space, but through the expansion of space itself. From our perspective, they will fade, their light stretched into undetectable wavelengths by the relentless pull of dark energy. Eventually, only the galaxies bound to our own through gravity, the local group, dominated by the Milky Way and Andromeda, will remain. Beyond them, nothing. The grand cosmic tapestry, once filled with trillions of galaxies, will dissolve into an eternal darkness, broken only by the faint light of our immediate neighbors. To future astronomers living tens of billions of years from now, the universe will appear small and lonely. They will see only a single cluster of stars surrounded by endless void. The evidence of the Big Bang, the expansion of space, the cosmic microwave background, all of it will be gone, stretched beyond visibility or erased by the march of entropy. They will not know what we know. For them, cosmology will be a closed book, the great story of the universe sealed away by the horizon. The tragedy is that the cosmos reveals its greatest secrets only to civilizations alive at this precise moment in cosmic history, when acceleration is just beginning to dominate, when the evidence still lingers in reach. We live in the golden age of cosmology, and the horizon is both our window and our warning. But if dark energy continues to accelerate expansion indefinitely, what does that mean for the regions beyond our horizon? Are they forever cut off, lost to us? Some physicists believe that horizons are not as permanent as they seem. In certain interpretations of quantum mechanics and relativity, horizons may carry information across them in ways we do not yet understand. Hawking radiation, the faint glow predicted to emanate from black holes, emerges from the interplay of horizons and quantum fields. If event horizons of black holes can preserve information in subtle quantum patterns, Could the cosmic horizon function in a similar way, encoding data about regions we cannot see? This speculation has given rise to a bold idea that our observable universe might be like a hologram, a three-dimensional reality projected from information imprinted on a two-dimensional surface at the cosmic horizon. In this holographic picture, what lies beyond the horizon may not be forever lost. Instead, its influence is encoded in the structure of space-time itself, woven into the patterns of quantum fields that stretch across the entire universe. If this is true, then the cosmos we perceive is only one perspective on the deeper, more fundamental reality where boundaries are illusions and horizons are not absolute ends, but translations of information between layers of reality. The challenge is that even if such information exists, decoding it is beyond our current reach. The cosmic microwave background offers the faintest hints, tiny fluctuations carrying imprints of physics beyond what we can see. Some anomalies in this ancient light, the alignment of multipoles, the unexplained cold spot, have been interpreted as signs that something beyond the horizon is influencing our observable cosmos. Perhaps gravitational waves from colliding universes rippled across the early universe, leaving echoes that we mistake for statistical noise. Or perhaps the distribution of galaxies is being ever so slightly tugged by massive structures hidden beyond sight, their gravity seeping across the horizon in ways we cannot block. And so the horizon is both a barrier and a bridge. It tells us where sight ends, but it does not guarantee where influence ends. The possibility that unseen structures or even entire universes could press against our cosmic bubble suggests that we may be inhabitants of a much larger story, our own chapter connected invisibly to others. This brings us to the unsettling question. If galaxies are slipping away, if the universe is accelerating into eternal isolation, then what becomes of meaning, of life, of purpose in a cosmos that erases itself from view? For some thinkers, the horizon's closure is a death sentence, not for individuals but for knowledge itself. The cosmic story will not be available to future generations, no matter how advanced their science becomes. But others see in this inevitability a profound responsibility. We are the universe's witnesses in this rare moment when the horizon has not yet erased its past. Our role is to gather, to preserve, to understand before the fading begins. Perhaps the great project of intelligence is not to escape the horizon, but to record what can be known inside it for those who will come after, stranded in a darker cosmos. Yet, the horizon might not always remain as it is today. If dark energy changes, if its strength evolves with time, then the fate of the cosmos could be radically different. Some models predict that dark energy may grow stronger, tearing galaxies apart, then stars, then atoms themselves in a catastrophic end known as the Big Rip. In such a universe, the horizon does not just limit what we can see, it consumes everything, pulling the fabric of space and matter beyond recognition. Other models suggest that dark energy may decay, allowing expansion to slow, even reverse, leading to a cosmic collapse. In that case, the horizon would shrink, galaxies once beyond our reach, returning to view as everything falls together again. In either case, the horizon becomes not just a boundary in space, but a clock, counting down to the destiny of everything we know. It is at once a cage, a screen, and a prophecy. Beyond it lies mystery, but inside it lies urgency. The horizon teaches us that time is as much a boundary as distance, that the universe's future may close doors forever, and that we are alive in an age when the doors are still ajar. The horizon defines the boundary of what can be known through light and time, but humans have never been content to accept limits. Whenever a frontier has been declared impenetrable, curiosity drives us to imagine paths across it. And so cosmologists ask, is there any conceivable way to reach beyond the cosmic horizon? Could wormholes, quantum tunnels, or exotic manipulations of space-time allow us to step across a boundary and glimpse what lies outside our observable universe? The idea of wormholes emerges naturally from the equations of general relativity. Space-time is not static but dynamic, capable of bending, stretching, and folding. In principle, two distant points in the universe could be connected by a bridge, a tunnel through higher dimensions that bypasses the need for light to traverse the intervening space. If such structures exist, they could connect regions within our observable bubble, or, more tantalizingly, lead to domains beyond our horizon. Yet wormholes, as far as theory tells us, are unstable. To hold one open would require exotic forms of matter with negative energy, substances we do not know how to create or sustain. Still, the equations refuse to rule them out entirely. Somewhere beyond the horizon, in the wilderness of inflationary space, such structures might form naturally. If so, then there could be passages between universes, shortcuts across horizons that are otherwise absolute. Even more radical is the notion that horizons themselves are not as impenetrable as they seem. In quantum mechanics, barriers can be crossed through tunneling, a process where particles slip into regions they should not be able to reach according to classical physics. If spacetime obeys similar principles, then the cosmic horizon might not be a wall, but a semi-permeable veil, allowing information, or even matter, to leak through in ways we barely comprehend. The discovery of Hawking radiation from black holes revealed that horizons can emit signals, subtle quantum imprints of the regions they enclose. Could the cosmic horizon also glow faintly, whispering to us about what lies beyond? If so, the faintest patterns in the cosmic background may already be messages in disguise, waiting for a civilization advanced enough to decipher them. But speculation carries risks. For if wormholes or tunnels exist, and if they connect our universe to others, the consequences for physics and even for existence itself could be profound. Crossing such a bridge will not only expose us to regions of space-time with different physical laws, but might destabilize the delicate balance that holds our cosmos together. The act of contact could alter vacuum states, triggering phase transitions that reconfigure the universe itself. In this scenario, the horizon is not just a boundary of knowledge, but a safety barrier, shielding us from forces and realities too alien for survival. Perhaps it is no accident that horizons are so hard to cross. Perhaps they are the universe's way of containing dangerous diversity, keeping the fabric of one reality safe from another. And yet, in thought experiments, physicists dare to imagine, if we could travel through a wormhole beyond our horizon, what would we see? Would the galaxies and stars be familiar, arranged in patterns that echo our own? Or would we emerge into chaos, a realm where gravity is weak, atoms are unstable, and light itself bends in unexpected ways? In some universes, chemistry as we know it might never arise. In others, stars may burn with unimaginable intensity, living for only moments before collapsing. And in some, life may flourish in forms so alien that we will struggle to recognize it as life at all. Beyond the horizon, every possibility permitted by mathematics might be realized somewhere. This leads to a deeper, unsettling possibility that beyond our horizon, there may exist versions of ourselves. If the universe is infinite, then every possible configuration of matter must occur. There will be another Earth, another set of oceans and continents, another set of civilizations rising and falling, another you, sitting now, pondering the same question about the cosmic horizon. These duplicates would not be connected to us by any physical bridge, yet they would exist, separated by unbridgeable expanses of space. Their presence challenges the very idea of individuality and uniqueness. Are we distinct beings, or echoes of a pattern repeated endlessly across an infinite cosmos? But there is an even stranger idea, one that arises not from infinity, but from the holographic principle. If our universe is a projection of information encoded at the cosmic horizon, then everything we experience, including the notion of boundaries, distance, and separation, may be an illusion of perspective. Beyond the horizon may not exist in the way we imagine. The true reality could be a deeper layer of information, a framework from which our universe is derived. In this sense, to look beyond the horizon is not to travel outward, but to turn inward, to uncover the code that generates reality itself. Physicists exploring the mathematics of black holes and string theory find hints that space-time itself emerges from entangled quantum information. If so, then horizons may be less like walls and more like screens, dividing not places but representations. Still, even if the horizon is a veil, the question lingers. Who, if anyone, could pierce it? Advanced civilizations may already have tried. Some researchers speculate that unusual signals in the cosmic microwave background, cold spots, alignment, temperature gradients, may be attempts at communication from beyond our horizon, information encoded in patterns of radiation, using the very structure of the universe as a message board. Others believe that if civilizations beyond our reach discover wormhole technology, they might already have seeded the cosmos with pathways, invisible bridges waiting for discovery. These speculations are bold, perhaps fanciful, but they remind us of the magnitude of the unknown. For the horizon does not only conceal space, it conceals time as well. Regions beyond our reach may not merely be distant in space, but may exist in different epochs of cosmic history, where time flows differently or where the conditions of the early universe still reign. To cross the horizon could be to step into the past or the future, to witness versions of reality preserved in states long since erased here. Perhaps entire universes exist where inflation never ended, where the cosmos remains a boiling sea of energy, frozen forever in its first second. Perhaps others have already cooled, collapsed, or transcended into states we cannot even describe. The thought that such diversity lies just beyond the thin shell of our observable universe is both exhilarating and terrifying. It suggests that what we know as reality is a parochial corner of a much larger, stranger whole. It challenges us to imagine that the rules we take for granted, light, time, matter, causality, may be local customs, not universal laws. And it raises the haunting possibility that we are forever confined to our corner, destined to wonder, but never to see. And yet, there is power in the wondering. Horizons define not only what we cannot know, but also the scope of our imagination. They are the canvas onto which we project our boldest ideas, from wormholes and multiverses to holograms and infinite duplicates. In doing so, they shape our understanding of ourselves. To ask what lies beyond the cosmic horizon is to confront not only the limits of physics, but the limits of imagination itself. The horizon is not only a frontier of space, it is also a frontier of time. The further we look outward, the further we look backward, seeing the universe as it once was rather than as it is. Beyond the horizon lies not just unseen space, but unseen history, stretches of cosmic time that have unfolded without our witness. And if the universe continues its relentless acceleration, the horizon will also become a barrier to the future, severing us from what lies ahead as surely as it severs us from what lies behind. In this way, the horizon is a boundary where past, present, and future converge, a line that marks the limit of both memory and prophecy. At its core, the horizon forces us to grapple with entropy, the slow, inevitable drift of the cosmos toward disorder. The second law of thermodynamics states that in any closed system, entropy always increases. The universe, vast as it is, follows the same principle. Stars burn their fuel and collapse, black holes evaporate, and structures that once seemed permanent slowly decay. The horizon ensures that this decay unfolds in isolation. As galaxies accelerate away, each becomes its own island, cut off from the rest, destined to fade alone. Entropy wins not just locally, but cosmically, enforced by the horizon's invisible hand. In the deep future, after tens of billions of years, the sky will no longer be crowded with galaxies. The faint wash of the Milky Way will have merged with Andromeda, forming a single supergalaxy adrift in an otherwise empty void. Beyond its borders, nothing will be visible. The cosmic microwave background, once a brilliant afterglow of creation, will stretch to wavelengths so long that it disappears from detection altogether. To any observers alive then, the universe will seem eternal, static, and solitary. They will have no way to know that it was once vast and expanding, no way to reconstruct its true history. The horizon will have erased the evidence of the cosmos' origin. This vision raises profound questions about the preservation of knowledge. If future civilizations will find themselves blind to the cosmic story, then is it our responsibility, in this privileged age, to preserve what we know? We may be the only beings in the universe who live at this exact moment when the truth is still visible, when the cosmic microwave background still glows, when galaxies still populate the sky in their trillions. Perhaps the universe has entrusted us with the role of witnesses, caretakers of a story that will otherwise vanish behind the horizon. The act of observation itself becomes sacred, a fleeting opportunity in cosmic time to see reality whole before the veil descends. But the horizon does not only conceal the past and erase the future. It may also hide something more unsettling: information. Black holes taught us this lesson. For decades, physicists argued about whether matter that falls into a black hole is lost forever, its information destroyed. But more recent theories suggest that information may be preserved, encoded in subtle patterns on the event horizon itself. If this is true of black holes, could the same principle apply to the cosmic horizon? Might the information about what lies beyond not be gone, but stored, hidden in the quantum structure of space-time at the boundary? Some versions of the holographic principle suggest exactly this, that everything we observe in 3 dimensions is in fact encoded on the 2-dimensional surface of our cosmic horizon. If so, then the horizon is not just a wall of ignorance, but a library, one that contains every detail of the universe, inside and out. Decoding this library, however, would require physics far beyond our current grasp. The patterns would be written in the entanglement of quantum fields, imprinted in correlations so subtle that they evade all but the most advanced detection. Still, the idea is intoxicating, that the horizon we curse for limiting us may also be the very mechanism that preserves all knowledge, a safeguard against the final loss of meaning to entropy. Yet, entropy itself may not be as final as we think. As black holes evaporate over unimaginable timescales, they release radiation that carries away their hidden information. Could the universe as a whole behave the same way? Some cosmologists speculate that the end state of the universe, rather than being an eternal heat death, may involve the release of information in unexpected ways. Perhaps the final horizon, stretched to infinity, will radiate its secrets back into reality, returning everything that was ever lost. In this picture, the horizon is not a permanent end, but a temporary vault, keeping the data of existence safe until the universe is ready to reveal it again. But the most haunting possibility is that horizons may hide not just information, but whole layers of time itself. Beyond what we can see, entire epochs may still be unfolding, eras that will never reach us because the expansion of space prevents their light from crossing the void. The cosmic story, then, is incomplete, not because it ends, but because it continues elsewhere, unobserved. Just as we can never see the entire Earth from one vantage point, we may never see the entire universe, not because it is too big, but because it is too young. Somewhere beyond the horizon, galaxies are still forming, stars are still being born, civilizations may be rising, playing out dramas we will never share. The universe is alive beyond our sight, yet forever beyond our reach. And so we find ourselves trapped between entropy and possibility. On one hand, the horizon erases, isolating galaxies, hiding the past, blinding the future. On the other, it may preserve, encoding all that exists into patterns too deep for us to yet decipher. Between these extremes lies the question of our role. Do we accept the horizon as a permanent limit, resigning ourselves to ignorance? Or do we treat it as a challenge, a clue that greater truths lie hidden in the very structure of the boundary? The horizon, after all, is not arbitrary. It arises from the laws of physics themselves, from the interplay of light speed, cosmic age, and accelerating expansion. If these laws are written into the fabric of reality, then the horizon may be as essential to existence as time and space. Perhaps without it, universes like ours could not exist. Perhaps horizons are the scaffolding on which reality is built, shaping not just what we can see, but what can be. This thought brings with it a strange comfort. The horizon may frustrate our desire for omniscience, but it also ensures that our reality has coherence. that we have a universe stable enough to wonder about in the first place. Beyond it may lie wonders and terrors, infinite duplications or alien laws, but within it lies the fragile order we call home. The horizon defines the stage, and we, for now, are the players upon it. If the cosmic horizon is a limit imposed by the laws of physics, then the natural question arises: could those laws be bent, altered, or even engineered? Civilizations, if they survive long enough, might not merely be content to live under the rules of their cosmos. They might attempt to shape them. And if horizons are the ultimate boundaries of knowledge and existence, then manipulating horizons may represent the highest achievement of intelligence in the universe. The thought is bold, almost unthinkable, but not without precedent. Humanity itself has already learned to manipulate boundaries once considered absolute. We split the atom, unlocking energies trapped within nuclei for billions of years. We bend electromagnetic waves, once thought intangible, into communication signals that circle the globe. We have even bent the flow of time in subtle ways, slowing clocks in airplanes and satellites as predicted by relativity. Each advance has revealed that limits are not walls, but thresholds, waiting for new tools to cross them. Why should the cosmic horizon be any different? Physicists have already speculated that horizons can be manipulated in black holes. In principle, the creation of negative energy states, or exotic forms of matter, could allow control over the evaporation of a black hole's event horizon, altering the flow of information and energy. If horizons are indeed surfaces where information is encoded, then controlling them might allow the ultimate mastery of data itself, the ability to preserve or erase entire histories at will. For a sufficiently advanced civilization, this may not be fantasy, but necessity. Survival across cosmic timescales would demand mastery over entropy, over expansion, over the horizons that otherwise erase and isolate. Imagine a civilization that refuses to accept the fading of galaxies beyond the horizon. With energy resources spanning entire stars or galaxies, they could attempt to counter cosmic expansion, building engines that push against the fabric of spacetime itself. Such projects are almost incomprehensible in scale. Dyson spheres constructed not around stars but around clusters of galaxies, harnessing energy on scales we can hardly model. If enough energy could be deployed, perhaps expansion could be slowed locally, halting the loss of visibility and holding the horizon at bay. Such civilizations would in effect be fighting against dark energy itself, resisting the fate of isolation that acceleration promises. There are more audacious possibilities still. Some cosmologists speculate that civilizations might one day learn to create pocket universes small, expanding regions of spacetime birthed within our own. If the mathematics of inflation can be harnessed, a spark of vacuum energy might inflate into a new cosmos, complete with its own horizon, laws, and galaxies. To create a universe is not simply to build a world, but to engineer a horizon, a boundary that defines what is inside and outside. If intelligence can accomplish this, then horizons are not just natural barriers, they are artifacts, sculpted by design. Every universe could be the child of a previous one, every horizon a work of cosmic architecture. In this light, our own horizon may itself be evidence of such a project. The smoothness of the cosmic microwave background, the fine-tuning of physical constants, the very fact that galaxies exist, may not simply be chance or necessity. They could be the fingerprints of ancient engineers who seeded our universe, leaving us inside a horizon that was never purely natural but carefully shaped. If so, then to study the horizon is not only to study physics, it is to study the design of whoever or whatever came before. The manipulation of horizons may not only allow the creation of universes, but also the preservation of civilizations. If the cosmic horizon erases history by severing causal contact, then advanced beings might attempt to encode themselves into it. Quantum information could be inscribed in the horizon's fabric, leaving messages or entire civilizations in forms that persist even when galaxies vanish. Perhaps what we see as faint anomalies in the microwave background are not statistical quirks at all, but deliberate encodings, ancient civilizations leaving behind blueprints, warnings, or invitations woven into the structure of the horizon itself. And what of escape? If our universe is doomed to end in heat death or collapse, then survival may depend on crossing horizons into other domains. Wormholes might be one path, but another, more subtle approach may be to manipulate horizons themselves into bridges. If the cosmic horizon encodes information about what lies beyond, then learning to decode and reconfigure it may open a passage. Horizons could become gates rather than walls, technologies waiting to be unlocked by minds vast enough to understand them. Such speculations blur the line between cosmology and theology. For what is godhood, if not the ability to create universes, to control the laws of physics, to write the limits of what can be known? To engineer horizons is to become not just a participant in the cosmos, but its author. Whether such feats are truly possible or forever beyond reach, they suggest that horizons may not be immutable after all. They may be stages in the evolution of intelligence, challenges placed before every civilization as it grows. For us, these thoughts remain far away, almost incomprehensible. We are bound to our fragile planet, still struggling with the basics of survival. But the horizon waits, immense and silent. And as we look at it, perhaps we are glimpsing not just a boundary but a challenge. What lies beyond may not be unreachable forever. It may simply demand more than we yet know how to give. The cosmic horizon conceals more than space and time. It may also hide alternate versions of history itself. If the universe is infinite, or if inflation has spawned countless bubbles of reality, then every possible outcome of every possible event may play out somewhere beyond our reach. This is not just speculation about distant galaxies, but about alternate Earths, alternate civilizations, and alternate versions of ourselves, all living out paths that branched away from ours long ago. The horizon, then, becomes more than the barrier between regions of space. It is a curtain between parallel stories of reality. The logic is unsettling in its simplicity. In an infinite universe, the combinations of matter, energy, and events cannot be finite. Just as every arrangement of atoms must repeat somewhere, so too must every arrangement of histories. Beyond the limit of our sight, there may exist a planet indistinguishable from Earth, orbiting a star indistinguishable from our sun, where every detail of your life has unfolded exactly as it has here, except for one. Perhaps in that universe you chose differently at a pivotal moment, spoke a word you withheld here, or survived a fate that claimed you in this one. These alternate histories are not products of imagination, but statistical inevitability in an unbounded cosmos. This vision forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about identity and meaning. If there are endless versions of us scattered across infinite space, each playing out different lives, are our choices truly unique? Do they matter if every possibility is realized somewhere? Or does meaning arise precisely because within our horizon, only one version of events is accessible? Perhaps the horizon preserves significance by separating one story from another, preventing us from being swallowed by the infinity of what could be. Quantum mechanics adds another layer to this puzzle. Some interpretations suggest that every quantum event spawns multiple outcomes, each realized in a branching universe. In one, a particle spins up. In another, it spins down. In one, a star collapses. In another, it does not. And in some, life emerges where in others it never has. If this interpretation is correct, then beyond our horizon may not just be copies of our universe produced by inflation, but entire alternate realities generated by quantum branching. The multiverse becomes not just spatial but temporal, a fractal of histories expanding in every direction. Some cosmologists argue that these interpretations may even overlap. Eternal inflation produces endless bubble universes, and within each, quantum branching proliferates countless timelines. The result is a staggering multiplicity, a cosmic library containing every possible reality written into its shelves. The horizon may conceal not only what we cannot see, but what we cannot even conceive. Universes where mathematics is different, where time flows backward, where stars never ignite, or where consciousness arises in forms utterly alien to us. Yet even in the face of this infinity, there may be faint hints of connection. Some anomalies in the cosmic microwave background have been interpreted as possible imprints of collisions between our universe and others. If such collisions occurred, then the boundary between realities is not always absolute. Perhaps, in the earliest moments, when inflation was young and fragile, universes brushed against one another, bleeding patterns into each other's skies. If so, then some of what lies beyond the horizon has already touched us, encoded in the faint radiation that surrounds us to this day. These hints are tenuous, contested, but they tantalize us with the possibility that alternate histories are not completely sealed away. What would it mean if one of those alternate Earths were accessible, even in principle? Would we meet another version of humanity, shaped by different choices, different fates? Would we find civilizations that rose earlier than ours, mastering technologies we cannot yet imagine? Or will we confront darker reflections worlds where humanity perished in infancy, undone by disasters we narrowly avoided here? The very thought unsettles, for it suggests that our survival, our history, is not inevitable but contingent, one strand among countless that might easily have broken. The possibility of alternate histories hidden beyond the horizon also forces us to reconsider the nature of time. If the universe contains every possible version of history, then perhaps time is not a river flowing in one direction, but a landscape, with every path already laid out, every possibility realized. In this view, the horizon is like a fog that limits our sight, showing us only the path we walk, while countless others stretch out invisibly in all directions. Our sense of freedom, of singular history, may be an artifact of perspective. Beyond the horizon, freedom may dissolve into inevitability, choice into multiplicity. And yet, perhaps there is something uniquely valuable about being trapped inside a horizon. We cannot see our duplicates, cannot interact with other versions of ourselves, cannot step into alternate timelines. That very limitation may grant our story meaning. We may not be the only version of humanity, but we are the only one we will ever know. The horizon, then, is not just a limit but a gift, enclosing our story so that it can be lived as if it were unique. Without that boundary, existence might collapse into chaos, every choice drowned out by the noise of infinite others. Still, the possibility lingers that traces of alternate histories may be detectable. Subtle correlations in cosmic background radiation, unexplained alignments of galaxies, even anomalies in quantum experiments might hint at entanglement across horizons. If universes are not completely sealed, then faint threads may weave between them, threads of information whispering of what lies beyond. Some theorists suggest that our own universe may be entangled with others, our quantum events linked to theirs, our history subtly influenced by realities we cannot see. If so, then the horizon is not absolute, but porous, allowing echoes of other worlds to seep into ours. The thought that alternate versions of humanity may exist beyond our sight is both haunting and humbling. It suggests that our struggles, triumphs, and failures are not unique, but endlessly repeated. Yet, it also emphasizes the fragility of our own story. We are one thread in an infinite fabric, one melody in a cosmic symphony. Beyond the horizon, the music continues, but we hear only our part. Whether this diminishes or deepens the meaning of our existence depends on how we choose to listen. What lies beyond the cosmic horizon may not merely be repetitions of what we know, nor alternate histories playing out in familiar patterns. It may be realms where the very fabric of reality is different, where the constants and laws of physics take values unlike those in our universe, leading to entirely alien forms of existence. If eternal inflation is true, then each bubble universe spawned from the inflating sea of space-time may cool into a distinct reality, with its own rules governing matter, energy, and time. The horizon, then, is more than a boundary of visibility. It is the dividing line between one set of physical truths and another, between the familiar order that gives rise to galaxies, stars, and life, and possibilities too strange for us to imagine. Our universe depends delicately on its constants. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars might burn out in moments, collapsing into black holes before planets could form. If it were weaker, stars might never ignite, leaving a cold, dark cosmos devoid of energy. If the electromagnetic force were altered, atoms would not bind in the same ways, and chemistry as we know it would not exist. Even the masses of particles, protons, neutrons, electrons sit within narrow ranges that allow stable matter and complex structures. Our horizon encloses a reality finely tuned for life, but beyond it, universes may unfold in endless permutations, most barren, some violent, and a few perhaps fertile in ways unimaginable. Consider a universe where time flows differently. In ours, time marches forward, driven by entropy. But what if in another cosmos, entropy decreases and order grows rather than diminishes? Such a universe might seem frozen to us, its system self-organizing with unnatural precision. Or imagine a realm where causality itself is reversed, where effects precede causes, and history unravels backward. To beings adapted to such conditions, our own reality would appear incomprehensible. Horizons may therefore separate not just spaces, but categories of existence, domains where the rules of thought, experience, and life itself diverge so radically that mutual recognition is impossible. And what of consciousness? If the laws of physics vary beyond the horizon, then consciousness may take forms wholly unlike our own. In our world, it arises from biological brains, networks of neurons exchanging electrical impulses, but in other universes, different forms of matter or energy might support awareness. Plasma fields, crystalline lattices, or even the fundamental structure of space-time itself could serve as substrates for thought. Entire civilizations might emerge composed not of flesh and bone, but of magnetic storms, quantum entanglements, or flows of dark energy. Their realities would be as rich to them as ours is to us, yet utterly alien to our perspective. Some speculative theories even suggest that consciousness could be more fundamental than matter, an intrinsic property of the universe like space or time. If this is true, then horizons may conceal domains where consciousness manifests differently, where awareness permeates reality itself rather than being confined to particular structures. In such realms, there may be no distinction between individual and cosmos, no separation between thought and the environment. To cross such a horizon would be to dissolve individuality, to merge into a field of awareness that spans entire universes. But if alternate laws of physics can produce alternate forms of life and consciousness, then we must ask, why do we exist in this particular kind of universe? The anthropic principle offers one answer. Out of all possible universes, we find ourselves in one that allows observers, because only such universes contain beings capable of asking the question. Beyond the horizon may stretch countless realms devoid of life, silent and sterile, but their existence explains ours. We are here because we could not be elsewhere. Yet this answer, while logically sound, feels unsatisfying. It reduces our existence to a lottery win, a roll of cosmic dice that happen to land in our favor. Perhaps there is another explanation. Some physicists suggest that universes may not be isolated, but part of a larger structure, a multiverse where realities influence one another. If so, then the properties of our cosmos may be shaped not by chance alone, but by interactions with realms beyond our horizon. The constants of nature might be stabilized through exchanges across boundaries, balancing out to values that permit complexity. In this view, the horizon is less a wall and more a membrane, a surface through which influences seep, shaping our world in ways we cannot directly observe. And if universes can interact, then perhaps communication across horizons is not entirely impossible. Advanced civilizations existing in domains with physics unlike ours may have found ways to encode information into subtle structures, embedding signals in the patterns of cosmic radiation, the distribution of galaxies, or even the fine structure of quantum fields. We might already be surrounded by messages from beyond, written in languages we have not yet learned to read. What we dismiss as random fluctuations or unexplained anomalies could be deliberate communications from minds that arose under alien laws of physics, reaching out across horizons to announce their presence. Yet, even without contact, the knowledge that alternate realities may exist changes our perspective. It forces us to abandon the assumption that our universe is the default, that its laws are inevitable. It reminds us that what feels permanent and universal may be parochial, a local custom of physics. Beyond the horizon, existence may unfold in ways that defy not only our observations but our imagination. The task of intelligence, then, is not to master all realities, but to understand that reality itself is plural, a patchwork of domains, each with its own truth. This plurality is both humbling and liberating. It humbles us by showing that our universe is not the only possible stage, that we are not the only actors reality can support. It liberates us by suggesting that existence is inexhaustible, that no matter what happens here, beyond the horizon new forms of life, thought, and meaning may continue. The cosmos is larger, stranger, and more fertile than any single universe could ever be. And so the horizon stands as both boundary and promise. It denies us sight of these alternate laws and forms, yet hints at their existence. It forces us to imagine, to speculate, to stretch our minds beyond the familiar. In doing so, it reminds us that the unknown is not empty. It is filled with possibilities we cannot yet comprehend, waiting in silence beyond the edge of our light. The horizon tempts us with the possibility that it conceals not only alternate universes, but also echoes of our own. For if the cosmos has cycles, periods of birth, growth, collapse, and rebirth, then beyond the horizon may lie remnants of previous incarnations of reality, universes that lived and died before ours began. Perhaps the light we cannot see does not only belong to other domains, but to earlier versions of this very universe, layered into the fabric of existence like hidden pages beneath the text we read today. The idea of cosmic cycles is ancient, appearing in mythologies across cultures. Civilizations from India to Greece imagine worlds that rise and fall in eternal repetition, eras of creation and destruction playing out endlessly. Modern physics, surprisingly, has resurrected this idea, though stripped of myth and clothed in mathematics. Instead of a single Big Bang followed by eternal expansion, some cosmologists propose a universe that bounces collapsing in a big crunch only to be reborn in another explosion or undergoing cycles of expansion driven by forces that eventually reverse themselves. In such models, our horizon may not be the edge of space, but the edge of memory, hiding the traces of universes that came before. Evidence for such cycles may already exist in the patterns of the cosmic microwave background. Some researchers claim to see faint concentric rings, as though violent events from before the Big Bang left imprints on the radiation that fills our sky. Others suggest that anomalies like the cold spot may be remnants of structures from a prior universe carried through the transition into ours. If true, then the horizon is not only a boundary of distance but of reincarnation, marking the place where the previous cosmos handed its legacy to the present one. But how could anything survive the supposed annihilation of a collapsing universe? One answer lies in the mathematics of black holes. When a black hole forms, information seems to vanish. But theories now suggest that it may be preserved in subtle correlations at the horizon. If universes themselves behave like vast black holes, collapsing into singularities before rebounding, then perhaps their information is not destroyed either. Instead, it may be encoded in the quantum structure of space-time, transferred across the bounds, and written into the newborn cosmos. The structures we see galaxies, clusters, filaments might carry faint echoes of an older order, invisible unless we know how to look. If cycles truly occur, then our universe is not unique, but part of a lineage. Beyond the horizon may lie not strangers, but ancestors. Entire epochs of stars may have risen and fallen before ours. Civilizations may have thrived and vanished, their achievements erased, but not entirely forgotten. Their imprint could be hidden in the fine details of cosmic radiation, in the distribution of dark matter, or even in the genetic code of life itself, if information somehow traverses cycles in ways we do not yet understand. This possibility reframes the horizon not as a prison but as a curtain between acts in a cosmic drama that has played out countless times before. The implications are staggering. If universes recycle, then the future may already be written. Our cosmos will eventually collapse, its contents compressed into unimaginable density before exploding outward again into a new beginning. That new universe will have its own horizon, its own galaxies, its own observers wondering if others came before them. Perhaps they too will find faint hints of us, just as we may be glimpsing hints of them in the anomalies of our sky. The horizon, then, is not just a spatial or temporal limit, but a bridge across aeons, connecting one reality to the next in an eternal chain. But cycles raise unsettling questions. Are they truly eternal, or do they eventually end? Does each cycle differ from the last? Or is every universe an exact repetition, every choice and event replayed endlessly with no possibility of deviation? If the latter, then our lives may not be unique at all. We may have lived them before, countless times, and will live them again, every joy and sorrow replayed without escape. The horizon would then be less a veil of mystery than a wheel of fate, spinning endlessly through identical histories. Other theories suggest variation. In these models, each cycle differs slightly, like a melody improvised anew with every performance. Universes may retain imprints of the past while diverging into new forms, allowing novelty alongside memory. In such a cosmos, the horizon hides not identical repetitions but evolving histories, where each cycle builds upon the last. If this is true, then perhaps intelligence itself is part of a grand trajectory, civilizations rising and falling across cycles, slowly accumulating knowledge that carries forward, hidden but indelible. Our role in this lineage might be to add one more contribution to a library of wisdom that survives the death of universes. Speculation goes further still. Some physicists propose that the very constants of nature may change from cycle to cycle. Gravity may strengthen or weaken, particles may acquire different masses, and the conditions for life may shift dramatically. In some cycles, life may flourish abundantly, while in others, the cosmos may remain barren and lifeless. If so, then the horizon may conceal not just echoes of our universe, but radically altered versions of its ancestors and descendants alike, each with its own fate. To imagine that our horizon conceals entire histories before ours is to expand our sense of time beyond comprehension. We are accustomed to billions of years, the lifespans of stars and galaxies. But cycles imply timescales without end, universes upon universes stretching into infinity, each bounded by horizons, each giving birth to the next. In this vision, the cosmos is not a singular event but a rhythm, an endless breathing of reality. We are alive in one inhale, destined to vanish into the next exhale, before returning again in another form. This vision can feel comforting, as though death itself is not final but part of a larger cycle, our universe destined for renewal. But it can also feel crushing, suggesting that we are trapped in a loop without purpose, condemned to repeat without memory. Whether cycles represent liberation or prison depends on what they preserve. If they carry forward knowledge, consciousness, or meaning, then each cycle is progress. If they erase all, then each is futile. And so, the horizon once again becomes a question rather than an answer. Is it a boundary hiding eternal repetition, or a gateway into endless innovation? Does it conceal our past lives, forgotten but real, or does it hold only silence, blankness, waiting for us to write anew? We may never know. But even the possibility that our horizon hides echoes of ourselves changes everything. It makes us part of a longer story, a lineage not of individuals or civilizations, but of universes themselves. The cosmic horizon not only conceals the possibility of past cycles and alternate universes, it may also hide glimpses of our own universe's future. For if the cosmos has an ultimate destiny, then beyond the horizon, in regions far removed from us in space and time, that fate may already be unfolding. To look outward is, in a sense, to look forward. For the expansion of space carries different regions of the universe along different timelines. Some may already be experiencing endings that we will not reach for billions or trillions of years. The horizon may therefore be less a curtain than a time machine, showing us not only what once was, but what inevitably will be. One possible fate is heat death, the slow decay of everything into uniformity. In this vision, the stars exhaust their fuel, galaxies dim into darkness, black holes evaporate, and even matter itself decays into a thin mist of radiation. Entropy wins absolutely, leaving nothing but equilibrium. Beyond the horizon, there may already exist regions that have cooled into silence, their structures erased, their energy spread so thin that no spark of complexity remains. We cannot see them, for their light will never reach us. But physics suggests they are there, a preview of our own eventual end written beyond the veil. Another possibility is more violent, the Big Rip. If the acceleration of the universe continues to increase, driven by a form of dark energy whose strength grows with time, then eventually not only galaxies, but stars, planets, and even atoms will be torn apart. In such a scenario, the horizon does not merely expand. It accelerates toward us, consuming everything in its path. Far beyond our observable limit, this ripping may already be occurring, shredding distant structures in the storm of expansion too fast to outrun. To imagine that beyond the horizon space itself is unraveling is to confront an ending more terrifying than emptiness, a universe that devours itself. Then there's the specter of vacuum decay. Quantum theory suggests that the vacuum state of our universe may not be truly stable, but only metastable, like a ball resting in a shallow depression on a slope. A quantum fluctuation anywhere in the universe could nudge it into a lower energy state, triggering a bubble of new vacuum that expands at nearly the speed of light. Within this bubble, the laws of physics themselves would change particles, forces, and chemistry redefined in an instant. If such an event has already happened beyond our horizon, we would never know until it reached us, erasing everything in its path. The horizon may thus hide not only alternate universes and cycles, but doom itself already advancing unseen. But if endings are already written beyond the horizon, does that mean our fate is sealed? Not necessarily. The cosmos is vast, and even if vacuum decay or the Big Rip occur elsewhere, they may not reach us for unimaginable spans of time. More intriguingly, it is possible that such events could be local, rewriting portions of the universe while leaving others untouched. In that case, the horizon may divide not only space but survival, separating doomed domains from those that persist. We may already live in a rare pocket of stability, surrounded by regions that have collapsed into silence, yet protected by the very expansion that isolates us. This perspective reframes the horizon as both threat and safeguard. It hides dangers we cannot confront, yet also ensures they remain distant. A vacuum bubble cannot outrun light, and if its origin lies beyond the horizon, we are safe forever. The very boundary that frustrates our curiosity also shields our existence. What lies beyond may already be dead, but we endure precisely because we cannot see it. And yet, the idea that parts of the universe may already be experiencing our fate challenges our sense of time. We often think of the universe's end as an event in the far future, a distant horizon of billions of years. But in truth, endings may be occurring right now, scattered across the cosmos, invisible to us, but inevitable in their spread. The horizon ensures that we live in a privileged bubble of survival, a pocket of time protected by distance. It is humbling to realize that the apocalypse is not only a question of when, but also of where. There are deeper implications still. If the horizon hides our destiny, then perhaps advanced civilizations elsewhere have already faced what we will one day confront. In distant domains, perhaps billions of years older than our own, stars have long since burned out, galaxies dimmed, and civilizations perished. Beyond the horizon, intelligence may already have wrestled with the ultimate questions: how to endure heat death, how to resist expansion, how to escape vacuum decay. Their solutions, if they found them, are hidden from us, but their struggles may not be lost entirely. Perhaps traces linger in the structure of the cosmos itself, encoded in patterns of energy or the distribution of matter, faint signatures of survival strategies written across horizons. Some theorists even propose that civilizations might attempt to engineer their way out of cosmic death, creating new universes to inhabit, or manipulating vacuum states to stabilize reality. If so, then beyond our horizon, there may not only be dead regions, but thriving ones, sustained by technologies capable of defying fate itself. Our future may depend on whether we, too, can one day master such knowledge. Horizons then become not prisons, but milestones, marking the stages of survival across time. In the end, the horizon forces us to confront the fragility of existence. Beyond it may lie heat death, ripping expansion, or collapsing vacuums, our future, already real somewhere else. Yet within it, for now, there is light, order, and the possibility of life. We live in a fleeting window between beginnings and endings, granted a brief view of a cosmos alive with possibility. That view will not last forever. Eventually, the horizon will expand so far that even the evidence of our origins will vanish, and we will be left alone in silence. But perhaps that is what makes this moment precious. We are here, now, able to see galaxies in their billions, to measure the faint afterglow of creation, to wonder about what lies beyond. The horizon does not diminish us, it defines us, reminding us that knowledge is not infinite, but bounded, and that meaning arises in the space between what we can know and what we cannot. Beyond it lies our future, already unfolding. Within it lies our present, fragile and bright. The horizon feels absolute, as if it were written into the fabric of existence itself. Yet physics teaches us that what seems permanent often proves provisional, a limit born not of nature's final law, but of our present ignorance. Just as sound once seemed bounded by the speed of the wind, and flight by the pull of gravity, perhaps horizons too are limits awaiting dissolution. What if the boundary we treat as the edge of sight is not eternal? What if the very concept of a horizon is temporary, a feature of a universe still unfolding, destined to vanish when deeper truths are revealed? One way horizons might dissolve is through new physics, laws that rewrite our understanding of space and time. Einstein shattered the Newtonian cosmos by showing that space is not a stage but an actor, bending and stretching under the influence of mass and energy. Quantum mechanics dissolved the illusion of determinism, revealing a reality ruled by probabilities and uncertainty. What might the next revolution bring? Some suspect it will be quantum gravity, a theory that unifies general relativity and quantum mechanics into a deeper framework. If such a theory emerges, the horizon as we understand it may prove to be only an approximation, a mirage produced by incomplete knowledge. Hints of this already exist. In the study of black holes, the paradox of information loss suggests that event horizons are not absolute barriers. Information that seems to vanish may in fact be encoded in subtle correlations at the boundary, leaking back into the universe over immense timescales. If this principle applies to the cosmic horizon as well, then what lies beyond is not truly lost to us. It may be hidden, scrambled, inaccessible with current tools, but not gone. The horizon dissolves not by opening a door to the outside, but by showing that the outside is already inside, its information preserved in the fabric of our reality. Another possibility lies in the fate of cosmic acceleration. The horizon exists because expansion is outrunning the speed of light, carrying galaxies beyond reach. But if dark energy changes its nature, if its strength weakens or reverses, then the expansion could slow, halt, or even collapse. The horizon would retreat, revealing regions of space once hidden. Distant galaxies might reappear, their light finally catching up to us after eons of exile. In such a future, the cosmos would feel larger, not smaller, the curtain lifting to show a grander stage than we ever imagined. Horizons, in this vision, are not permanent walls, but shifting tides, their position changing as the universe evolves. There is also the possibility that horizons are artifacts of perspective. To an observer inside the universe, the horizon appears real, a boundary of vision. But to a hypothetical being outside, looking at the cosmos as a whole, No such limit exists. All regions coexist, all histories unfold together. The horizon may be less a property of the universe and more a property of us, a symptom of being embedded within time and space rather than beyond them. If so, then dissolving the horizon may require not new physics but a new vantage point, a way of seeing the cosmos from outside itself. Whether such a perspective is attainable, even in principle, is unknown. But the very idea suggests that limits are relative, not universal. Even stranger possibilities arise in speculative theories of higher dimensions. If our universe is a three-dimensional surface embedded in a larger dimensional reality, then the horizon may be a local feature, like the curve of the Earth. From within, the horizon feels absolute, but from above, it is an illusion, a consequence of limited perspective. Advanced civilizations might one day learn to step into higher dimensions, seeing over the horizon the way a satellite sees over the curvature of the planet. In that higher view, the hidden would become visible, the boundary dissolved by a shift in dimensional perspective. And what of consciousness itself? Some philosophers and physicists suggest that awareness may not be bound by the same limits as matter and energy. If consciousness is fundamental, capable of entangling with the deeper structure of reality, then perhaps horizons do not constrain it. We may never build a telescope to see beyond, but through different modes of awareness, mathematics, imagination, or even undiscovered faculties of mind, perhaps the horizon could be transcended. Already, through equations, we glimpse realities we cannot observe. Could the mind itself become the tool that dissolves the cosmic boundary, revealing truths inaccessible to the senses? There is also a more radical possibility, that horizons are not real at all. They may be approximations, artifacts of averaging over vast scales, useful but not fundamental. At the deepest level, the universe may be a web of quantum entanglement, where information flows freely, unbounded by distance. In such a reality, what we call a horizon is no more absolute than the horizon at sea, a feature of perspective that dissolves as soon as we change our frame of reference. If physics ultimately reveals that all parts of the universe are connected, then the horizon was never a prison, only a trick of scale. But perhaps the most profound dissolution of horizons would come not from physics or perspective, but from the universe itself transforming. If our cosmos undergoes a phase transition, if its vacuum state shifts, rewriting its laws, then the very structure of space-time may change. Horizons could vanish as new rules replace old ones, just as water transforms into steam or ice, erasing the boundaries of its prior state. What lies beyond may then not only become visible, but irrelevant, as the universe becomes something new entirely, a reality where the concept of a horizon no longer applies. To imagine horizons dissolving is to imagine freedom. Freedom from ignorance, from isolation, from the inevitability of decay. It is also to imagine responsibility. For if horizons are temporary, then one day we, or our descendants, may inherit the knowledge of what lies beyond. That knowledge could expand not only our science, but our sense of meaning, showing us that we are part of a cosmos far greater than we ever dreamed. Or it could overwhelm us, revealing truths too vast, too alien, too destabilizing to endure. For now, the horizon remains. But the history of science suggests that no limit is sacred, no boundary eternal. What lies beyond may not remain hidden forever. The horizon may dissolve, and with it, our understanding of what it means to live in the universe at all. The cosmic horizon is not only a limit to our vision of galaxies and light, it may also be the ultimate barrier to communication. If intelligence has arisen elsewhere in the universe, then vast civilizations could exist beyond our reach, hidden not because they are absent, but because their signals cannot cross the ever-expanding gulf. This raises a haunting possibility. The universe may be teeming with life and thought, but most of it lies forever beyond our horizon. Inaccessible, unknowable, like voices shouting across an ocean that grows wider every moment. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence has long wrestled with silence. We scan the skies for radio signals, look for patterns in cosmic radiation, and search for structures too large to be natural. Yet all is quiet. One explanation is that we are alone, a solitary spark of consciousness in a vast darkness. But another possibility is that intelligence abounds, just not here, not within the narrow bubble of space we can observe. Beyond the horizon, entire networks of civilizations may span galaxies, exchanging knowledge and culture for billions of years. To them, our existence is invisible, just as theirs is to us. The horizon divides not only matter and energy, but minds, ensuring that intelligence remains local, never universal. This thought is both tragic and profound. Tragic because it suggests that we may never meet our cosmic kin, never learn from their triumphs or mistakes. Profound because it emphasizes that our story is ours alone, unshaped by alien influence, unshared beyond our bubble. Perhaps this isolation is what allows civilizations to develop freely, to evolve without interference. Each horizon encloses a laboratory, a unique experiment in consciousness, separate from all others. In that sense, the silence we hear is not absence, but protection, a safeguard of individuality on a cosmic scale. Yet, there are reasons to wonder if the horizon is truly absolute for intelligence. Advanced civilizations, far older and more powerful than ours, might not be content with such isolation. If they could manipulate physics itself, they might find ways to leave signals at the very edge of detectability, messages woven into the structure of the universe that younger civilizations like ours could eventually discover. The cosmic microwave background, for instance, is universal, a canvas every observer shares. If you wish to write a message that would be seen by all possible civilizations within a horizon, the microwave background would be an ideal medium. Its fluctuations could encode patterns, mathematical sequences, even maps. Some anomalies observed in its texture have even been speculatively interpreted as potential signals, though mainstream science attributes them to statistical noise, but the idea lingers. What better way to announce presence than to etch it into the oldest light of the cosmos? Other possibilities are subtler still. Advanced beings may encode information into the fundamental constants of nature, into the ratios of particle masses, or the values of universal forces. Any intelligent observer would eventually measure these numbers. If they contain hidden structure, a pattern not explained by chance, it might be the fingerprint of design, a deliberate attempt to communicate across horizons of time and space. To us, the constants seem arbitrary, but perhaps they are not. Perhaps they are a message written into the bones of reality itself. Still others suggest that civilizations might communicate through the structure of space-time. Gravitational waves ripple across the cosmos, bending the fabric of existence itself. Unlike light, they pass almost unhindered through matter and may carry information across horizons in ways we do not yet understand. Could the universe already be filled with patterns in its gravitational background, messages encoded by civilizations long vanished, still humming through space-time? If so, we may one day detect them not with radio telescopes, but with instruments tuned to the whispers of gravity itself. But if communication across horizons is impossible, then perhaps the most profound form of contact is indirect. The recognition that we share the same fate. Every civilization within every horizon faces similar limits. They rise, struggle, seek meaning, and vanish, their light swallowed by expansion. Though separated by distance and boundary, we are united by destiny. This silent kinship may be the truest form of cosmic connection, not words exchanged, but an understanding written into the structure of existence itself. There is, however, another possibility more daring and more unsettling. What if advanced civilizations have already transcended horizons, not through physics we know, but through methods we cannot yet conceive? If consciousness is more fundamental than matter, if it can entangle with the deep structure of the cosmos, then perhaps communication is possible not through energy or signals, but through awareness itself. Civilizations might merge across horizons in ways invisible to physics, forming networks of mind that span universes, uniting what expansion would otherwise separate. To us, still bound to biology and machines, this sounds like mysticism, But to intelligences millions of years ahead, it may be as natural as speech. For now, though, we remain deaf. We look outward and the sky is silent. The galaxies we see are ancient. Their stars may already be cold. Their civilizations, if any, long gone. The signals we hope for fade before they reach us, lost to expansion. We are left with the horizon, mocking in its silence, reminding us that intelligence, however widespread, may never be shared. Yet in that silence there is also invitation. If we cannot listen to others, we must speak ourselves. If no voices reach us, we must be the voice. Perhaps the role of humanity is not to hear, but to proclaim, to leave our own message etched into the cosmos for others who may one day read it. In this way, the horizon becomes both barrier and canvas. It denies us contact, but it also offers us the chance to write something universal. The question is not only what lies beyond, but what we will choose to send outward, knowing it may never cross the divide. Will we leave silence, or will we attempt to inscribe meaning into the cosmos, to add our story to the vast, hidden chorus of civilizations beyond the veil? The horizon does not merely challenge our physics, it challenges our philosophy. It is the line between the known and the unknowable, between what we can measure and what we must imagine. For beings like us, bound to finite senses and finite lives, horizons are inevitable. But we must ask, are horizons features of the universe itself, or are they illusions created by the limits of perception? Beyond them, do we confront new realms of matter and energy, or do we confront truths about the very nature of existence that cannot be captured in equations at all? From one perspective, horizons are practical. They describe the regions of space from which light has had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe. There are technical boundaries in a cosmos governed by relativity and expansion. Yet, when we stare at them long enough, they become something more. They become symbols of mystery, mirrors reflecting our own ignorance back at us. In this sense, the horizon is not a property of space-time alone, but a psychological construct, a reminder that every form of knowledge is finite. What lies beyond is not just hidden from our eyes, but hidden from our certainty. The horizon therefore presses us into questions of meaning. If most of the universe is forever invisible, does that diminish the importance of what we see? Or does it magnify it, making the local precious precisely because it is all we can know? Perhaps meaning is not measured by the scale of reality, but by the depth of engagement with what is within our reach. The horizon, in this sense, is not a tragedy but a gift, focusing our attention on the finite, on the particular, on the fragile light that still reaches us before it fades away. Yet there is another way to see it. Perhaps horizons are invitations. Every generation of human history has lived with limits, barriers that seemed absolute until they were overcome. The sky itself was once a horizon, stars unreachable, planets untouchable. Oceans were once horizons, edges of the world where maps ended. Each time, curiosity pushed us farther, and what lay beyond became part of our world. The cosmic horizon, though vastly more formidable, may be the same. It may not be an eternal wall, but a challenge, daring us to imagine new ways of seeing, new ways of being, that extend our reach into the unseeable. But what if horizons are deeper than space? What if they exist at the level of being itself? We know reality through concepts, matter, energy, time, law. But what if these are themselves horizons, simplifications of a deeper truth? Beyond them may lie structures of reality that cannot be described in the language of physics. Because physics is only one form of comprehension. Consciousness, values, meaning all may represent dimensions of existence that stretch beyond the horizon of science. If so, then the boundary we confront in cosmology is mirrored in philosophy, the line between what can be explained and what must be lived. Religions and mythologies have always intuited this. Many describe boundaries between worlds, the seen and unseen, the mortal and divine. Horizons, in these traditions, are thresholds of transformation. portals not only to other spaces, but to other ways of understanding. The scientific horizon may be the modern version of this ancient theme, the place where reason and imagination meet, where we admit that knowledge alone may never exhaust mystery. To face the cosmic horizon, then, is to face the same question that has haunted humanity for millennia. Is there more than we can know? And if so, how should we live in its presence? Some thinkers suggest that the very act of confronting a horizon is transformative. Even if we never cross it, the awareness of its existence expands us. It humbles us, reminding us that we are not the measure of the universe. It inspires us, pushing us to reach beyond complacency. And it grounds us, reminding us that the finite is still meaningful in an infinite cosmos. Perhaps what lies beyond matters less than the fact that there is a beyond, an inexhaustible depth to reality that guarantees that our search will never end. Others push further still, suggesting that horizons may dissolve not only through physics but through consciousness. If mind is not merely a byproduct of matter but a fundamental feature of reality, then perhaps awareness itself extends beyond the limits of light and time. Mystical traditions speak of union with the cosmos, experiences where the boundary between self and universe dissolves. Could it be that horizons exist only for observation, not for consciousness itself? If so, then what lies beyond may already be accessible not through telescopes, but through transformation of the self. This thought is unsettling, for it implies that our deepest questions may not be answered by science alone. They may require philosophy, art, spirituality, forms of knowing that approach reality not through measurement, but through participation. Beyond the horizon may lie not only galaxies we cannot see, but dimensions of existence we cannot yet comprehend. The task is not only to build better instruments, but to become broader beings, capable of engaging reality in ways we have not yet imagined. Ultimately, the horizon confronts us with choice. We can see it as a limit, a reason for despair, proof that the universe is larger than we can know. Or we can see it as an invitation, a reminder that the story of existence is always bigger than the part we can read, and that meaning lies in the act of seeking, not in the guarantee of arrival. Beyond the horizon may be infinite worlds, infinite laws, infinite forms of consciousness, or it may be silence. Either way, the horizon teaches us that the universe is not small enough to fit within our certainty. It is larger, deeper, and stranger than we can ever exhaust. And perhaps that is the answer we seek. The horizon tells us that existence is not bounded by our imagination, that mystery is not an error to be fixed, but a feature to be embraced. What lies beyond may remain forever hidden, but the very fact that it exists at all is enough to transform how we see ourselves. We are finite beings, standing at the edge of infinity, staring into a darkness that will never yield entirely to light. And in that confrontation, we discover meaning not in knowing everything, but in being willing to wonder at what we cannot know. The horizon has carried us from physics into philosophy, from the limits of telescopes to the limits of imagination. It is where questions about galaxies turn into questions about meaning, where science and myth converge. To end this journey, we must ask, why does the horizon matter so much to us? Why does the idea of something forever hidden stir such longing, such awe, and such fear? Perhaps it is because the horizon is not only out there in the cosmos, it is also inside us. Every human life is bounded by horizons. We are born into ignorance, and we die without knowing how the story ends. Our minds crave certainty, yet we live always on the edge of the unknown. In this sense, the cosmic horizon is a mirror. It externalizes the condition of being human. Just as galaxies slip beyond sight, so too do possibilities slip beyond our grasp. Just as light cannot reach us from most of the universe, so too can we not reach the final answers to our deepest questions. The horizon embodies the tension between curiosity and finitude, between the infinite mystery of existence and the finite scope of our lives. This tension is not a flaw. It is the source of meaning. If everything were visible, if the entire cosmos lay open before us, there would be no mystery to pursue, no questions to animate thought, no awe to awaken in the face of the unknown. The horizon ensures that wonder remains, that discovery never ends. It gives us direction, pulling us forward across centuries of exploration. Without horizons, we would have no reason to look outward, no reason to dream of more. And yet, horizons do more than inspire curiosity. They shape humility. The fact that most of the universe will forever remain unseen reminds us that we are not the center of existence, not the masters of reality. Our story is vast to us, but it unfolds in a cosmos that dwarfs our comprehension. The horizon humbles, reminding us that our significance lies not in size or power, but in awareness, in the fact that we can even ask what lies beyond, even when the answer is hidden. That capacity for wonder may be the most profound achievement of consciousness, greater than any technology or empire. But the horizon also offers hope. It reminds us that reality is not exhausted by what we know. There is always more, always depth beyond depth, always new layers waiting to be imagined. This hope is not naive, it is existential. To live with horizons is to live with possibility. It is to accept that the universe is not closed, that meaning is not final, that existence cannot be reduced to what fits within our current frame. Horizons keep life open, ensuring that the future holds surprises, no matter how much we discover. If we extend this reflection further, the horizon becomes not just a feature of cosmology, but a metaphor for all boundaries, between cultures, between minds, between eras of history. Each horizon divides and conceals, but each also invites crossing, transformation, dialogue. Just as the cosmic horizon challenges us to imagine what lies beyond the reach of light, so too do our personal horizons challenge us to imagine what lies beyond the reach of our present selves. In both cases, the unknown is not only obstacle, but opportunity. Perhaps this is the deepest meaning of the horizon. It is a place where we meet ourselves. When we ask what lies beyond the visible universe, we are also asking what lies beyond the visible parts of us, beyond our assumptions, beyond our fears, beyond our limited ways of seeing. The cosmos does not answer. It simply presents the boundary, silent and dark. The rest is up to us. How we face the horizon, whether with despair, with arrogance, or with wonder, reveals who we are. In this sense, the horizon is not an ending. It is a beginning. It tells us that no matter how far we go, there will always be farther still. That truth could be crushing, but it can also be liberating. It means we will never run out of questions, never reach the end of discovery, never find the final word. Existence is endless not only in space, but in meaning. To live in such a universe is to live in a story that can never be fully told. And so, when we look up at the night sky, at the faint galaxies receding toward invisibility, we're not witnessing tragedy. We're witnessing the gift of mystery. The cosmic horizon ensures that our journey will never be complete, that every generation will have its own frontier to explore. What lies beyond will remain hidden, but in that hiddenness lies a very spark that drives us to build telescopes, to write stories, to dream of what we cannot see. In the end, the horizon matters because it teaches us how to live, not in certainty, but in wonder, not in possession, but in pursuit, not in despair at what we cannot reach, but in gratitude that there is always more to reach for. The horizon is the universe's way of telling us that existence is larger than us, but that we belong to it nonetheless. We are finite beings in an infinite cosmos, standing at the edge of light, staring into darkness. And in that darkness, beyond the reach of vision, beyond the grasp of thought, lies everything: other galaxies, other histories, other laws, other meanings. We may never see them, but we know they are there. And that knowledge is enough to change everything. The universe does not promise answers. It offers horizons. And it is in the presence of horizons that we discover who we truly are.